Welcome everybody to the best fucking horror podcast in the world. We are all ready to fuck this pig horror style on November 15th. And we are talking about the brand new movie out there called Heretic, starring the romantic comedy stylings of Hugh Grant, not to be confused with Hugh Jackman. I am Bryan Kluger, and I am joined by three amazing religious pupiles. Well, we're going to dive into everything first. We have got Denton's own. He is the man. He is the myth. He is the legendary devil. Preston Barta, how are you?
I'm good. This week I watched a movie where a man rambles about esoteric ideas for hours on end, assert control over women's bodies while convincing them that it was actually their own idea. But enough about the US presidential election.
I liked
Aha,
it.
that was
I,
a
I
good
can't take
setup
credit for
and a
that. I
good
saw that
joke.
on Letterboxd.
I thought you were going to say that was me, and I was going to be very excited and give a thumbs up. Also coming in, she is a woman. She is from Florida, and she will believe anything a man tells her. Her name is Chelsea Nicole. How are you?
Have you heard of Aqua Tofana? You should Google that and see what
Is that like
the what.
Aquafina's cousin?
No, you should Google it. You should just Google it. It's really good for a horror podcast. But I was gonna say before you said dumb shit, I'm sitting here wearing my magic underwear and I am ready for this spooky Mormon hell dream.
Cool. What's your magic underwear look like?
It's like I'm a never nude.
Oh, she's a never nude. She's got those jean shorts on no matter what time of year it is. Like it. And also returning guest here on my bloody podcast. He is in Texas, and I do believe that he believes he is Christ coming back on the cross to help us all get out of this house and this podcast. It is Connor Bynum. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but that's not true. I'm not Jesus. I appreciate the
uh,
intro, but yeah, I did once again. I completely forgot to come up with a fun intro joke, but yeah, I'm not on the cross.
It's just
you nailed it. You
Brian's.
nailed it. I like it.
There you go. It's Brian's mission to make you uncomfortable.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we're off to a great start. I mean, the movie
Yeah.
Yeah,
did too,
making
but
mommy and daddy proud over here.
Mhm.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Heretic, the new film. First, first. Let's talk about some horror movie news. First off, we've got to pay our respects. We got to get our candles out. We've got to get our bees out, dicks out for Tony Todd. You know, we miss this guy. We love this guy. I mean, shit. This guy was amazing. Did anybody get a chance to ever talk with Tony Todd? I mean, he's the Candy Man. What's
I've seen
happening?
him in person, haven't talked to him.
Yeah. What was your favorite movie of Tony Todd? Doesn't have to be horror, really, but what was your favorite?
It's hands down Candyman. It's hard
Yeah.
to think of anything else beyond that than maybe The Rock, his bit in The
Oh.
Rock, where I forgot whatever the joke he said, but it was Nicolas Cage said something about, do you like some band or something like that? And it was, I don't know, let's say it's ABBA or something. He's like, do you like ABBA? He's like, I don't like that soft shit. And then he dies.
Do
So
you think do you think that Michael Bay saw him in Candyman is like that dude's fucking awesome. We've got to put him in The Rock as Captain Darrow. And then that
probably
happened.
because I think what most people probably wouldn't realize is just how he's kind of like Peter Weller in a lot of ways because he's like a Renaissance man. He's very Shakespearean, and that's something that I've always recognized about him because there's such a, Shakespearean way that he speaks in Candyman, and it's 100% his voice. Like he has a very gravelly voice, but it's also so soothing. Like I know I bring this up often, but I feel like if anybody could narrate like my nightmares or my the dreams that I have where I feel like there is a demon presence, my sleep paralysis, he would be the one to do it. I feel like he just has such a hauntingly good voice.
Okay.
But
I
it's a little sexy. I feel like it was a little
Yeah, he
sexy.
could do he could have done some or I don't know if he did. Maybe he did some of those nighttime readings.
all right. Um,
R.I.P. Tony Todd.
yeah, I mean, do you remember what other big horror film franchise he was in every movie of?
Final Destination.
Yeah, he's good in that. And I think he's going to be in like the upcoming one that comes out next year too,
Oh,
which will be his last one.
I hope they dedicate it to him. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. But yeah, he was such a cool dude. Yeah, I seeing him and talking to him at conventions and just seeing his presence. I'm gonna miss the guy. And he was young, wasn't he?
69.
Noise. So I beat Chelsea to it. She wanted it. Connor, are you a fan of Tony Todd?
Uh, I actually did not know who he was. I did do a quick search for him, but I gotta say, I think it's awesome that he got to play the Fallen in Transformers 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there's a video game coming out soon. It's a new Indiana Jones game called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've heard a lot of good things, and apparently he's gonna have a voice part in that. So that'll be fun to hear him in that.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
had a good Venom voice too.
Yeah, I saw he played the voice of Venom in the Spider-Man 2 PS5
I
game.
never played it, but I saw all the clips of it when they were teasing that he was in it, that his voice was being featured in it. I was like, ooh, that sounds really good.
Did Tony Todd ever do like any straight up comedy? I'm trying to remember. Like,
I
'cause
don't,
he seems like serious and like kind of a horrifying figure on the big screen, but did he do any comedy that was great? And
it's a
I was trying to go through
comedy
his resume to
adjacent or
see if he
something.
I
did.
mean, he was kind of funny. I mean, he brought a bit of like levity to his cameos in Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like it was always just like, "Ooh, you kids are messing with things you don't know nothing about," kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, he did that part in The Rock that I was just talking about. So
Yeah, I
this
guess
is
that was
it's not a
pretty.
full-on, full-blooded comedy, but they're like comedy adjacent.
Yeah. I like that. Also, I want to bring up this news again on my Bloody Podcast for those that only listen to my Bloody Podcast, because we have to, because we love the guy, Mike P. Nelson, our our favorite director here on my Bloody Podcast, Mike P. Nelson. No bias at all, but he's got two horror movies coming out, and one of them was just announced that he gets to make, which is the reboot to Silent Night, Deadly Night. I do believe from the huge success of Terrifier 3 with horror and gore and Santa, this one being a remake. I'm very happy for Mike P. Nelson. Who's happy for Mike P. Nelson again?
I'm contractually obligated to say I'm happy for Mike P. Nelson. He got to me.
Yeah, so you're contractually, but how do you feel deep down?
And naturally.
I no, I'm just kidding. I'm very excited for him. I think he's a very sweet, honest, like authentic guy, and with amazing ideas. I think that it's not just a thing of knowing someone and you're like, yeah, your stuff's really good. Uh, his No Wake Ambrosia segment in VHS, that was very impressive to me. So, yeah.
And Wrong Turn. Great movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the revamp. Yes.
Yes.
The Matthew Modine one. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, we're very excited about that. Connor, have you ever seen the original 80s Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Can't say that I have. Like I know I'm on a horror podcast right now, and I definitely need to up my horror game. Uh,
It's
like
basically about a maniac with an axe dressed as Santa terrorizing people
I mean, that
in
sounds
so
like a
many.
great time.
Yeah, oh yeah. So very excited about this.
He was a
Isn't there
stock boy.
Yeah, isn't there another movie coming out? Just not to derail too much, but with like Jack Black, where it's like the
Yeah.
little kid
Dear,
is
Dear Satan.
yeah, like writing to Santa, and he accidentally puts "Dear Satan,"
Satan on it and summons Satan.
and
Which is
But
a
yet Satan looks
genius,
awesome.
yeah,
yeah, which is a
That sounds
genius
amazing.
idea, by the way.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
One
excited
Farrelly,
for
letter
that.
speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Peter Farrelly's doing it. One of the Farley brothers, one of them's doing it.
That's good. I like them. You know why? Because they did Me, Myself, and Irene,
No, because they did Dumb and Dumber.
and
Yeah.
Matt too.
Did
No,
miles better movies.
there's one that's better than the other one
How do you know which one it
Don't
is?
talk about Mary.
because I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my goodness. All right, up next on the news segment. I'm the holidays are coming out. You're getting gifts for people. You're always looking for cool shit. And you see a lot of the same stuff, the same bullshit, clothes and whatnot. But there's a couple of places out there that really deliver the goods and the gifts for us freaks on My Bloody Podcast, such as A24, such as some of these like Rucking Fountain sites. But are there any things that you've seen like horror wise that you like, that you've seen that have come into your inbox that you want? I know of one of them. uh there's a new tree topper from A24, which is the May Queen from Midsommar for the tree. And I was like, why hasn't this been available before yet? Was there anything you've seen out there that you want to tell the listeners of like horror to get?
Well, there's a new thing. I mean, it's not new, but it's the spirit Halloween places. There's some spirit Christmas places now. I don't
Yeah.
know if there are any by me. I have to see. But a big thing they're doing is Creepmas, which is just creepy
What?
Halloween, which is just creepy Halloween, like Krampus style kind of thing.
Creepy Christmas.
Um, so yeah, I have to probably when I get off of this, I will go Google if there is a spirit Christmas by me.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I did not know this. So it's basically the Spirit Halloween stores, but they're going to add a Christmas element, but keep the scariness to it.
So no, it's called Spirit Christmas. So it's just like a Spirit Halloween, but for Christmas. But I know that there's a special section in the store that they try to keep kind of the creepy, and they call it Creepmas.
It's gonna be all Terrifier.
Probably a lot of Terrifier this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of that, that's one thing that I want to get that I haven't gotten yet is I can't remember if it was Umbrella or maybe I've already mentioned on this podcast already, but they're doing the Terrifier trilogy in a special $140 box set that comes with a VHS copy of the third Terrifier, which is awesome, and a lot of disturbing artwork. So that's something that I've been debating whether or not to get, especially for the VHS, because that's what I want and because it's playable. And all the three films have not been put on, it's just the first one has not been put on 4K yet. So I want to get that.
This is the Umbrella one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to get that. By the way, that tree topper from A24, I'm not too impressed by it. I think it just looks like grandma made it, and I think they could have done something way more earthy looking and cooler.
well,
But I like the concept. I think it's cool.
They
There
could have
there
had a
is
bear
some
head.
there is a Midsommar tree ornament out there that has like, it's like this big, it's kind of like the size of a pancake, like a flapjack. And it's like a snowflake with blood everywhere on it. And in the center is Florence Pugh's face when she's like freaking out and crying.
Mhm.
And I just thought that was I thought that was cool too. But I like the tree topper. I like the handmade. But I mean, they're in the middle of the fucking woods there. They gotta hand make shit. I get
I
it.
I'm gonna agree with Preston though that it should have been something cooler. I get the handmade. It's just very
It looks
like
weird with the little.
yeah,
They're too long. The things on her head, like they're too long.
yeah. I don't know. I would check Etsy before.
How much is
I,
that thing? Is it like a
it's like
$60 sock or
Forty
something?
forty
yeah,
eighty.
it's like it's $50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
it's
I think it looks cool. Would you rather have the bear burning up or like the yellow house
I
on
would
top
absolutely
burning up?
take
The,
the
the,
bear
the
burning
bear,
up.
man. That's
The
the joke
bear.
I made on that
Yeah.
post. But also somebody made a comment on it and said that it should have been um Mia Goth's character
I'm
from
a
I'm a
star.
star, because so she could be a star. Tree topper.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really cute. That's very horror.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. I still like it. I'm still pissed that A24 has not released the actual Talk to Me hand. Um, it's like an incense burner. It's not like the prop from the movie. It's an
Hmm.
incense burner, and I'm just like, well, no, who does
Like, how
incense?
round is that hand
Yeah, exactly.
itself? That's what you're
Oh my
asking.
God.
Well, that's what I'm looking for because I mean, I'm 13 inches around, so I need it, a lot. So, like, two hands, baby.
Just wait for talk to me. The second one
Yeah. Talk inside me. There you go.
comes with a
Uh,
Western grip.
I'm I'm just mad they never released any more of those little bear in a cage things.
Mm-mm.
You're
Yeah.
there was like it was like an edition of like 100 and it sold out like that. And they're like, oops. They made a whole like marketing campaign behind it. And then
Yeah.
I would like those to come back. I would buy one of those.
yeah. I get hey, I would love it. But yeah, I wonder if we'll get a blueberry candle, which would be fun. Up next on the news, did everybody enjoy the TV show Wednesday with Jenna Ortega?
I didn't finish it,
Okay.
I also didn't
but I
finish
want to
it.
watch. I do want to continue with it, just haven't yet. But I assume you're talking about the big news
Yeah,
of
season two. You know who's joining the cast?
Harley
Roma,
Quinn.
Roma, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
That's huge.
No, no, no. She's gonna be a cameo though.
She's still coming to the show. That's a
Okay,
big
but it's a
thing. Join
cameo.
the show.
Bye, Wednesday. Bye.
Yeah, yeah. Hey Wednesday, slay girl, slay. Bye. Bye, little monster. Like,
If you
I
look
don't know.
closely, you'll see her just being slipped a check as she's on her way out.
Yeah.
I think she's excited to do it. I think
No,
Lady
she is.
Gaga's fun as hell. Yeah.
I'm sure she is. I think that it fits her aesthetic and her brand really well, especially right now. But I'm not I'm not like anticipating anything like revelatory.
Huh.
It's no Patrizia from House of
That's true.
Gucci.
From a house of Gucci.
House of Gucci.
By the way, since we did that podcast on Fear and Loathing and doing Italian accents, I have not stopped in my own
I haven't
house.
either.
I am so happy about that. Connor, we did House of Gucci podcast for Fear and
Yeah, I
Loathing
heard
in
about that.
cinema. Uh, do you have an Italian accent that you can do on the show right now?
Not one that I would feel comfortable using in public.
Oh, you got to do. I mean, I just seem nice.
It's
Like I
just
got the
us.
little
You're
swing little
literally
It's
cat.
at
being
the
like,
House of Gucci. You have to do the hands with it. I
yeah,
mean, I always think of like the Family Guy bit where Peter gets a mustache and he thinks he can speak Italian, so he just goes "babidi boopy, bibbidi bobbidi bobbidi," like he just
yeah,
goes into an Italian restaurant.
it's like the
That's
Mario
how
and
they
But
talk,
Luigi.
Connor.
and yeah, yeah. Oh, I love the Mario and Luigi gibberish. It's like
Ba-da-ba-ba.
like stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
yeah. I
I
love
mean,
that
when
game.
you ever go to an Italian place, is that all you hear?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you keep it to yourself.
It's kind of like that meme that I saw where it's like a guy bowing and ordering food in Panda Express, but the person that's working is actually Spanish
Yeah.
or
Uh,
Mexican. It's
that's
different.
good. No, yeah, it's a good. Now I love that Preston is perfecting his Italian accent.
He
And
cooked a pasta.
Okay, well now I'm gonna have to do that next time I cook
But
pasta,
the
just to
fish.
annoy my wife.
You cooked a pasta. You love your wife. You fuck your family out of millions of dollars. No, I don't know.
I mean, we gotta be careful because if I were to say my wife in Italian, it would just start sounding like Borat.
Yeah,
But
we made that argument the other.
Comparison.
It was just my
My
wife.
it's like Jared
wife.
Leto is just doing a Borat impression by the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's good. Also, other news, which is not necessarily horror. It can be, but it's also could be bloody because we're a bloody podcast. We like action and shit here. Sophie Turner. She might be the next Laura Croft in the movies, replacing the one, the only, the Angelina Jolie. What do you think
Alicia
about
Vikander.
I liked the
it?
Alicia Vikander movie personally.
Yeah, how do you feel about this? Is this like the third generation of Laura Croft? Is this a good choice? Do you like Sophie Turner for this?
Connor has something to say because he saw the. I think he actually reviewed them for Fresh Fiction
I
back
mean,
then.
I reviewed I played the games like
Yeah.
the remake of those. I wanted to remake I review Rise of the Tomb Raider back in the day, but realistically like I just didn't have the time to play all the way through it and give my honest opinion about it. I didn't want to just but I did play it. It just took me like a little while to do it. Um I enjoyed the games. I thought that the Alicia Vikander movie kind of it had some of the stuff nailed down, but then other aspects of her character, they really kind of missed the boat on it. Like I could totally get in down to that rabbit hole, but overall, I do think like kind of like Last of Us, adapting a video game in a longer format seems to be a better way of going about it because the whole time during that last movie, it just felt like they were just racing through it to hit all the beats that they could because they just didn't have time. So I think it might be cool. I do think it's just I don't really like Sophie Turner that much. Like of all the Game of Thrones actors, I felt like she was the one who like yeah, she had an interesting arc in the show, but overall I felt like she was probably one of the weaker links who in my opinion probably didn't deserve to become famous except that she was just on a very popular show. So we'll see if she can do it, but I'm not really a big Sophie Turner fan.
Maybe she'll Phoenix out.
Maybe.
Dark Phoenix out?
I just want
Maybe.
to say, like, for those of you who are not watching this visually or listening to it, but when Connor was talking, he was like very channeling his inner villain by stroking a cat
Oh,
in a
yeah.
chair, going like, "Yes."
Yeah, I got my cat.
This is dissing on a lady.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sophie Turner. I think we'll see how it goes. I mean, she's in talks to join. I think she could bring it to it. I'm trying to think if I've seen her in like really big actiony adventure stuff. Like I know she didn't have a lot of really actiony stuff in Game of Thrones and in X-Men. It's like very heightened superhero, but I think this grounds it a little bit in Tomb Raider. So I wonder if she will be able to pull it all off.
Maybe she'll was like, I thought she was a Streisand, but she's really rocking the shit now.
Chelsea, are you a big Laura Croft Tomb Raider player? And you like Sophie? What do you have to say about all of this?
I am a big Lara Croft. I've played all the games, even the very old ones with the angular or not angular, but like pointy boobs. The very
That was my next
popular.
question. Do we want bigger tits than ever before in this new one?
I don't really care about that. I think that Sophie Turner will do a good job, and I think that I it's not that I don't like Alicia Vikander in the role, it's that I think it needs a little bit of momentum to it, and somebody else's fresh take could pump new life into it. So I'm all for it.
If you had to hire a director and a producer for this new one, who would you want to see take it on? The answer is Mike P. Nelson.
No, I want him to do
No.
some other creative work.
Yeah. I don't want him to do big studio stuff right now. I want him to do as much
Who would you want to
creative.
see then? Who would be
I don't
good?
know.
I don't
You don't
really
know?
I
care.
don't I don't know.
Tarantino?
John Favreau, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Jon
I
Favreau, I
my
mean, he filmed the whole thing in a volume.
yeah, my
But
yeah. My whole thing is I don't whatever.
I mean, are you excited about this then? If you're just saying or could it you take it or leave it?
I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
I'm
I think it's for
excited.
big
I'm
movies.
excited for her. I think that I'm going to disagree with her not being good on Game of Thrones. I think her kind of whole arc was very good. The ending of Game of Thrones was terrible. But
It's the
Yeah, I don't know.
journey.
Well, I mean, not to say that she was bad in Game of Thrones. I just feel like if you had to pick one, like a weaker cast member, I think she would just fall into that. I enjoyed the arc of Arya a bit more, or of Cersei or Jon, like, or even some of the ones who didn't make it by the end. I just felt like she was an unfortunately somewhat one note character where she was just a perpetual punching bag. And I mean, that's unfortunate for her character, but like she didn't get a ton to work with, so maybe that was part of it. But like if I had to pick one that was just not the one like that really stuck with me, unfortunately, it'd probably be Sansa or Sophie Turner.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This next piece of news is for Preston. Preston's alter ego is Shark Boy. I think Preston is in love with sharks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So news. The Shark sequel Under Paris 2 is in development at Netflix, and I'm curious if Preston has seen Under Paris 1 and if you like these horror shark movies as much as we all do.
I have not seen it. I've seen all the clips,
It's
Yeah.
fun.
but no, I haven't seen it. I think for me, I enjoy all the shark horror movies to a certain degree, especially when they just don't look that realistic and they're a little more campy. Then I can be okay with sharks getting killed in addition to people. But it's crazy, and I know I've said this before, how I kind of flock a little more towards something like Orca, where it's a shark getting revenge in a way that's a little more realistic than Jaws' Revenge, even though I do like that movie for how low it is on Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, I'm cool with it if they make it engaging. I just don't want the whole. And I'm gonna sound very like a shark conservationist, because I kind of consider myself one. That I hope it just promotes more interest in sharks rather than adding to the absolutely crazy statistic of how many sharks are killed each year
Interesting.
for shark fins and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we don't like shark fin soup here.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Have y'all not had it
Hmm.
before?
No, I watched Eli Roth eat it before on his fin documentary that he did.
Yeah.
I had deep fried shark one time at like some festival in Denton, and I was underwhelmed.
You go to hell, sir.
I mean, someone was like, "Hey, want to try some shark?" And I was like,
You
"Yeah."
just ate one of Preston's
But
family members. Jesus.
Go to hell.
you go to hell and you die.
I mean, so Preston, you would not eat shark if you were served it.
No.
But you would eat cows and chickens and shit.
Yeah, I suppose there's an
Preston would
argument
eat
that could be.
shit,
I
confirmed.
often think about that. If I would completely transition over, it's just I feel a little more like Vincent Vega, I guess. Pig's good, hamburger's good.
Yeah.
Pig's good. It's a filthy animal. No, yeah, it's I mean, as somebody I've had shark before, and I will agree with Connor. It's underwhelming, but this is also somebody who prefers catfish to like lobster. I don't think lobster is that good. So I prefer like the catfish or the crawdads of the sea. What was that? What was that look, Chelsea? You just gave a look. Chelsea?
Aren't aren't
Hello?
aren't aren't
Hello?
you aren't you being Jewish not supposed to eat like shellfish and stuff like that?
I know I'm being shellfish when I say that I cannot eat it. Aha. No, but no, I don't keep kosher.
I know, I'm
I don't
just
keep kosher.
we're talking about
There's
heretics. That's what
there's
I'm
so many
thinking about.
aspects of Brian where he's not a good Jew.
Name two, Preston. Name
Are you allowed to say
two.
that?
Name
Yeah.
two.
I can't in front of Brian.
Okay.
Other
Yeah.
people can get upset with me.
Name two reasons. I want to know. Is it because I don't keep kosher and
That's
I
one.
and then I'm only half circumcised?
What did the guy miss?
Yeah,
I'll
Brian
show
or
you
Connor,
my
you haven't seen it yet?
circumcision.
Let him
I
show
have
you real
not.
quick.
I love how he said, "Did they miss?"
I pulled back. It was too much. I like the it's like the duality of this Jewish boy right here. I like the hood on halfway. There we
Yeah.
go. I don't know what's happening. We've dived into circumcisions. Raise your hand if you're circumcised. Okay. Let oh yeah, there she go. Yeah.
You were at my bris.
I watched The Rabbi back in 1973. Okay,
Mhm.
here we go. Let's move into the feature presentation. Oh my God, this was too good. I love it. Feature presentation of Heretic. This movie is directed and written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who came up with the story and wrote the big franchise horror movie of A Quiet Place. And they didn't
By the
direct it,
way,
of
how
course.
funny is that they went from something where there's no dialogue to something that has a shit ton of dialogue?
Think they
Well, I
just needed
mean,
to get
you
it
come
out.
up with this, and maybe when you start out, you want to do something easy and maybe something that like is going to get picked up with not a big budget, and that's why some people like, oh, we're gonna make movies with two people in one room, or we're gonna make something where, oh shit, we're too self-conscious about dialogue. Let's make a movie where you have to be silent and we can just say what's kind of gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
kind of a genius move, but then, they're millionaires. The guys made $1 million. But yes, Scott Beck and Brian Woods, they did The Quiet Place, they did Haunt 65, and the most recent The Boogeyman.
Did you see
uh
65?
65. No,
Yeah,
I
the
did
Adam
not. I
Driver
have not.
dinosaur movie.
Oh no, 65. Yes, the Adam Driver dinosaur movie. Yes, I did.
How was it?
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's an action movie. It makes no sense, but it's fun. Like, what can I like that shit. I like when my movies are like shorter and then just go for it. There's really no explanation, and it's Adam Driver not being the House of Gucci. It's Adam Driver just killing shit. That's what I like. Did you see it? Did nobody see it?
No, no.
I
I
I
love
did not see
I
that.
love dinosaurs. I don't want to see them get killed.
So what is it with you and sharks and dinosaurs and
I
shit?
like
What people?
animals,
I,
man.
I love
Most
I
dinosaurs too.
misunderstood
registered.
creatures.
Yeah.
I love me
Oh,
some
talk to
Dinosaurs are
dinosaurs.
Preston
like
about
some of my
raccoons.
greatest loves.
I one time I showed Preston a video of a guy throwing a raccoon into well, he was like attacking his kid or something. So he went to the raccoon and he just like threw him into a dark void because there wasn't any light. So like it looked like he was just being cast into the shadow realm. And I showed it to Preston thinking he'd laugh, and he actually got pretty upset. And I was just like, oh, okay. And he
Oh
was
my
like, I love
God.
raccoons.
Now I know what videos to send Preston.
Have you seen that, Preston? Have you seen that video of the raccoon with the cotton candy and he just puts it in the
Yeah.
water and it's just, oh, it's heartbreaking.
My favorite raccoon video is a raccoon getting stuck from like the face from the head down, upside down in like a tank, like a military tank, and they try to
Yeah.
like yank him out, and his legs are just wiggling, and like it's just I couldn't. It made me think of Preston.
When you think of animals getting harmed, think of Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal
Animal.
sensitivity.
I
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, it's these guys did Heretic, which is a far cry from anything they've really done. It stars Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. And it's from A24. It was made on $10 million, and it is Hugh Grant like you've never seen him before. And so this was a title that was a secret screening premiere at Fantastic Fest this year. I did not see it at Fantastic Fest. I actually watched it for the first time yesterday. I asked some awesome questions in my notes. I'm very excited to discuss this movie because have
You're a bad Jew.
I have a great take on this for sure. Oh, it's a raccoon.
I just had to take it from her
That's amazing.
because it keeps squeaking, but she has a whole like bunch of these
Oh,
all
your
over the house.
dog's eating the raccoon.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. What are you doing
No,
over there? You're
no, but
teaching me
she
killing.
No, no, no. She's so gentle. She's a golden, so she's so gentle with her
It's just a
toys.
love bite.
Yeah.
Chelsea is talking
She's
about her dog Olive, a golden retriever, and I guess the Olive has a raccoon toy, and so she's trying to pester Preston with it.
Well, no, I just saw that what she had, and I was like, hey, it's gonna keep going off the whole time.
We can't
So
hear it.
you can't?
No,
No,
no, we can't hear it.
No,
your
too
computer
high,
might be
too high
filtering it
pitched.
out.
Yeah, your
This is
mic probably only has it directionally to
yeah.
you, so that's good.
Well, okay.
You got an
Give that
idea for a
dog
white
back that
noise sequel?
toy.
It's not bothering
No.
nobody except Preston.
Okay, so you can't hear that at all.
No.
Not really, no.
Have at it. She she caught it in her mouth. She's
Oh
happy.
shit, now I hear it.
No,
It's
you don't.
literally not even
Just
squeaking.
gonna have Chelsea
It's
take it
not even
away.
squeaking.
Oh, there you
No?
go.
Okay, there you go.
There you
Have
go.
at it.
All right, all right. So yeah, I saw Heretic for the first time yesterday. I'm very excited to talk about it. It is quite fun. But I first want to go to Preston and Chelsea because they both saw it at Fantastic Fest at the secret screening. I think they had two opposing views, but in like a sentence or two, Preston and Chelsea, what was your initial thought going into it, wanting it to be, and did it exceed your expectations?
I don't know if I can get that into a sentence. It might be a few sentences, but it won't be very long. But I can let Chelsea go first.
I was just
Chelsea.
gonna I was just gonna pull up what I wrote about it. My little trying to get a pull quote right after.
Hmm.
Um, Hugh Grant is a revelation in terror. Scott Beck and Brian Woods carry out a tense sacrament that takes relics from iterations such as Saint Maud and Martyrs. I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I,
So
I
you like
and I st and I stick by that.
okay, good.
It doesn't
Good,
say a
good.
lot, but I stick by it. Yeah.
Good. Preston, what did you think about this? Because I know when Preston goes into horror movies, I think he has an expectation and he wants something grueling and great. I'm curious on what he has to say on his initial reaction to this.
Well, I feel like there's a little more for me to say because my journey with the film is a little more complex because I have seen it twice, but I saw it. So I'll just say when I first saw it at Fantastic Fest, and Chelsea knows this, I was lukewarm on it at best, even more mixed negative, I would admit. However, I saw it again with Connor earlier this week, and I began to plug into more of the nuances of it. I got a little more wrapped in it all because I guess I knew what was all there. So I actually took it up a whole star from 2.5 to 3.5, which I very rarely do. I can't think of many instances other than maybe Jumanji, the next level. But after that happened, I just kept asking myself, like, what didn't I see when I first saw it? Because I suppose, and Chelsea probably remembers this, I was just very exhausted by it
Yeah.
initially because it's, as we already mentioned, it's very dialogue heavy. And Fantastic Fest is an exhausting atmosphere because you're running on fumes. And I don't know, when I saw it, it felt like watching The Da Vinci Code, where there just was so much to keep up with. But and because it's just it's a wall to wall movie with that is a battle of ideas. And then by the end, I suppose I still kind of feel this way a little bit. I just felt like it ended in a way that was a little too conventional. I felt like it abandoned some ideas that I thought were much cooler in the first half, but like I just said, saw it again, and maybe those ideas weren't entirely abandoned. So I guess we'll discuss that shortly.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Connor,
Yes.
our resident religious expert. What did you see or how do you feel about your initial reaction to this movie, Heretic?
Well, we'll see. I don't know if you were joking around or not with that title, but like I actually have been a Christian for a long time, and I was raised in a Christian school, a Christian home, And my time in college was definitely a bit of, like that's when a lot of people just try to figure out themselves, and they go out and they just see like, hey, you know what, like, do I believe this, or do I believe something else, things like that. And so I mean, I'll just say like now, like, yes, I am still very much a Christian. My wife and I both go to church. So I was interested in this movie because, like, whenever there's a movie about faith, especially a movie like not made by people who are of that same faith, I am intrigued by it because, like, okay, like, I want to kind of see how they approach the subject, whether or not it is something that is approached with a bit of earnest, intention, or if it is something like where they just look where they come in there with a chip on their shoulder, where it's just more preaching to the opposite of the choir, like. And I kind of I was pleasantly surprised that this movie did not just cater to one side or the other of the debate. It, you know, well, first of all, let me say, when it comes to Hugh Grant, I want to just get this out of the way. Like, the night before, me and some friends, we were watching a movie called The Gentleman where Hugh Grant actually was also in that, and it was just funny seeing him because it was like the next day we're watching Hugh Grant just being like, because he talks a ton in both of these movies, so that was just fun for me to see that. But when, like, well, what am I trying to get to here? We can get
You're
into the conversation a bit
yeah,
more.
you
My initial
just your
reaction,
initial reaction.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, my initial reaction to the movie is it definitely is not going to be for everybody. It is way more of a talker, and hardly, I would say, qualifies as a horror film, except for, maybe 20% of it. It is way more of a conversation about theology that just happens to be involving a psychopath. So if that's your thing, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Chelsea?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like to talk about how we were like raised differently because I think that I was I was listening to stuff on this last night, and I saw this I've only seen this once, so I saw this at Fantastic Fest, the secret screening. And but I got it the first time. But I was kind of writing notes for today last night, and I think I have some opinions on what it's about. I know it's about, you know, spoiler, it's about just the idea of control kind of thing, but I think there are bigger things at work. I guess the writer directors even said they want to put the idea of certainty under a microscope just for this. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoy this movie, and we'll get into it.
All right. Well, I like how this movie starts out because the film is about two young girls, teenagers that are Latter-day Saints. They're on the bikes. They got the name tags. They're going around door to door selling their religious shit. And, you think you have this image in your head of, oh my God, these people are just talking about lovely things. But the thing they're talking about as the movie opens are Magnum condoms and watching porn. That kind of brings you into their world and like, oh, these people are real. These people think about these things too. It's okay. And I think it was brilliant. First off, and funny because the film to me, with Heretic, is a dark comedy with very big elements of horror in it. But I think it's a dark comedy in its most part for Hugh Grant in his character. But the whole conversation to really bring you in to really like these two girls are the condom and the porn conversation because like that you can relate to that. People like normal people, I guess, would watch stuff like that or have these conversations where you would not typically think that the missionaries or the people on the mission trips would be actually talking about this. So I thought that was wonderful and brings you into the story. Um, And I guess I mean, I guess does anybody relate to that? Has everybody watched porn here at least once in their life and worn Magnum condoms? I don't know. Right? Maybe so.
Oh,
Let's just keep it about the movie, sir.
Oh, well, okay. Why? Well, this is part of the movie. It's
I
divine
do like
intervention.
I do
I'm
like
more
how they
interested. Go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say I do like how they talk about what other things have we believed because of good marketing in the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Right, because that's the part thank you, Chelsea. That was the thing of marketing the religious and marketing the condoms and stuff like that. I think it was a
The
brilliant
whole
way to
thing
do
was
it.
about temptation, and so I get a lot from because it's a whole yes, it's a funny sequence where they're talking about things that a lot of people probably wrestled with in their youth about like these things are happening. People around me are engaging in these thoughts, and what should we make of them? And so I think it's interesting that it starts off that way because so much of the questions that happen a little bit later in the movie is just like, these, thoughts being put in your head and what you should make of them. And so I think it's just one of those things that, yeah, put in there for a laugh, but it also is carrying a lot of weight with it too, because it's something that fits into the overall thesis of the film.
I
Right.
think it's showing that they're real people, that they're
Yeah,
not this just like one note, like
yeah,
it's
Well,
just
it's the
yeah.
preconceived notion of
Yeah.
these people on bikes that you're just happy-go-lucky. You do not know about porn or condoms. But showing this in the very opening of the film is like shows like, oh, I'm gonna relate to these people. Like these are people that you could have a
Well,
conversation
it
with.
disarms you pretty quickly into being
Right.
like, okay, these are they're doing their kind of religious service, but these are regular girls.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yeah.
you want to keep them safe and root for them. Yeah.
So I
So
think that was interesting about that opening scene, particularly, was how like the camera pulls back to reveal the massive condom advertisement on the back of the bench. And I think what that was kind of getting at is it's establishing that these young women are just completely in over their heads in a culture that is perfectly comfortable talking about stuff that they are not comfortable with, and vice versa. Like they're more interested in things that, as a society, we usually try to avoid conversations about faith. And I thought it was just kind of a cool way to establish like these girls are just like, no matter where they're kind of fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
no, I think so too. But in that moment, in that opening scene when they're talking about it, it didn't seem like they were too nervous to talk about it with each other, at least. They felt comfortable kind of talking openly
Well, they were
about it.
testing the waters a little bit, and that's why, like with, uh, so it's Sister Margaret, or
Sister
what are
back
this?
um
I don't
oh
have it in
It's
front of me.
Paxton and Barnes.
Yeah,
Paxton
it's
and Barnes.
Paxton
Paxton is the
Barnes.
blonde one, I think.
That Sister Paxton was like, she didn't want to say fully what it was, so she was like, intercourse videos or whatever she said.
Intercourse.
Yeah,
So she's
no,
testing the waters a little bit and then reading the judgment and then could proceed. So,
right. So, in this movie, I think one of the questions I wrote down was, is it good to be really super religious? Because is it really good to be like extreme, or is it good to go door to door to strangers and talk about it? Because you're kind of brought up to not talk about politics and religion at the dinner table. But with the missionary works here, the Church of Latter-day Saints, and in real life and Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff like that, they go door to door and talking. Is it a good thing? Can you run into stuff like this? I mean, not on a heightened level such as this, but you got to be sure that you might run into some people who want to turn the tides on you. And is it a good thing, or what do you think?
That's a big question. Is it so what's your streamlined question?
Well, my question is in this movie, is it good to be that religious? Like, or do you think it's good to have like faith in something, or and then keep it kind of to yourself, or do you think is it good to be that religious?
So,
Because even with Hugh
okay, go ahead.
Grant's character, as he's kind of the antithesis of um faith in some sort of aspect as opposed to the two girls, is it good to be one way or the other? Because it is two extremes, you know, of opposite ends. One side is like you have to have your faith, it's all about God, and the other one is like there is no God, and I'm going to show you no matter what in a horrifying way that there isn't.
So speaking for myself, I think I was raised in different cultures since I was very young. The first school I ever went to was a temple. Um Temple Judea, shout out West Palm Beach. And then my parents put me into a Baptist, and then I went to a Catholic school, and then I graduated from evangelical fundamentalist Christian high school. So I feel like I have gotten a lot of different the spectrum of
Extremity.
very super religious, and then I can say this because I'm Catholic, but it's like more Catholics are just kind of like you go to church on Easter and Christmas, and that's about it kind of thing. Um, so for me, I don't going through things, I am agnostic because I don't like to say I know everything because I don't I yeah, I have a problem with that because I don't know everything. Um, but I don't like being controlled. I don't think people should be controlled by these ancient texts. And we go into it in the movie, and he tried to try bleh. Hugh Grant's character tries to do this kind of like scientific method of control, but it's not, it's flawed. He's not doing it correctly. Everything's already kind of laid out. But I do think a lot of religion is distortion. Um, why do we value this book written by men thousands of years ago, yet always strive towards the newest and most advanced things? Like uh, the scientific method just kind of tells you, oh, when we have new information, we update things. And I feel like as we evolve as a human species, we learn empathy for each other. We learn uh, not to compartmentalize these really outdated ideas for me personally. Um, so I don't think it's good to be severely, like radically religious, but also I'm going to go back to what I think this movie is about, and it's about your thoughts shape your reality. Whatever you want your reality to be, you will always find some kind of information to say, nope, that's not right, or yep, that's right. And
What,
sorry, this got a little long-winded.
No,
No, no, but I
okay.
mean, you're right. It has, you have both sides here, both extremes. One side
Yeah.
is preaching their religion to a stranger, and the other side is so against it that he, instead of saying like, "Oh yeah, not for me," he's gonna show them like what they're trying to show him, but in a more horrific way.
He's
Well,
trying to
yeah.
show how much these institutions are willing, like what they're willing to do to assert control, like to
Yes.
ensure that their
Yeah.
doctrine is not questioned.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And that's why he brings up all of the board games. But Connor, what do you think about all that? Is it good to be too religious or is it bad to be too religious?
Well, it depends on how you would define too religious. I think I personally feel like it's very important for everyone to have faith in something. Whether or not it lines up with what I personally believe, that's not necessarily for me to say. But I do like, for example, as a Christian, I know that like if I were to believe that my faith is true, that Jesus is the Son of God and came to earth as a human, lived a perfect life, died for our sins, if accepting that as truth would allow me to one day go to heaven after I die, if I believe that to be true, it would be the most hateful thing in the world for me to not tell other people about it. Like, because if I were to say that in my like if I firmly believe that to be 100%, then I would want to share that with other people. Now, the thing is, the difference when certain institutions would want to force that on other people, like when they would say, "Oh, I know better than you," or also, especially like they just start adding stuff into religious texts. Then, I mean, not to throw too much shade at Catholicism, but I think that's a major critique when it comes to that particular denomination. It's kind of like the idea of control is a cancer that kind of taints something that was perfectly good and useful for us as a species. In short, I do think faith is important, but I think it is the responsibility of believers to not use that faith as a way to place themselves above others, especially those who do not believe the same thing. Uh, that's just my personal take about it.
And how do you think that goes into Heretic?
Oh, I think that just like what Chelsea was saying, that Hugh Grant's character is very radicalized in his non-belief. It's almost, to him, it's like a cult of disbelief, trying to disprove it so hard that he's willing to do, like, to just justify completely disgusting, horrible, horrendous things that he would do to other human beings, all just because he can. It's it is a bit of a, I understand what the movie's doing. It's trying to hold up a mirror to religious institutions for doing similar things, especially when it comes to cults and other organizations like that. So it's like, this is what the dark side of any sort of belief system, regardless of what it is, can lead to, and it can lead to just very, very bad places.
Right. Because like in my little my little letterboxed thing that I wrote. I was like, I feel like this is a movie that flips the script on the mission people, like that maybe most people would want to do to the mission people coming to their house, have them come in and then flip the script on them. Like, what do you think if it's not real? Let me show you all these pamphlets and board games of my thing, Because I think maybe that's where the directors and writers, that duo, were coming from, because I feel like all of us at one point in time have had Jehovah's Witnesses and the Christian people come up and like try to sell you their religion, because that's what they are. And they say it in the movie. They are salesmen. They are salespeople. They are selling their religion door to door, and just like
Missionaries
a
are
vacuum
just
cleaner, huh?
missionaries are just salespeople. It's a transaction of exchanging ideologies.
Yes, exactly. And, in real life, most people won't answer the door, or they'll say not interested, or or whatever. But I mean, you might get some people who, as they bring up in Heretic, that, they're lost, they're looking for something, and they might want to have more information and talk about it. But I don't think anybody, at least, has ever acted out what Hugh Grant did to these two girls who, again, seem like the sweetest girls and very innocent. You have their ways, and then it's this seemingly father-like person, Hugh Grant, who is there for a purpose, and then slowly lets them in. Like, wait, you're not getting out of this, and I'm going to show you how much God is not real, to a devastating degree. When all he could have said, like, it's not for me. But he went in through like this whole carnival of obstacles and games through them, which I think is more terrifying. What do you
Because
think?
it's his kink. That's his kink.
Do you think he's doing it just, just to get off, like seriously, like a sexual thing? Or do you think he's hired by some higher power, that this is his mission,
Oh.
this is his mission trip? Like, he's not going to the jungles or South America to convert. He built this home for people to come to him. He reached out because he wants more information, and he's taking people like that. That's his
I
mission.
know. I think he's mentally ill.
I
Like,
do. I do think he gets off on being the smartest one in the room, though.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, I guess
Mm.
so because he literally has a blueprint, like a physical 3D blueprint of the house and how everything sets up. And he's practiced it. And I'm curious, I mean, I almost want like a prequel to this movie with him just because like what religion fucked him over so bad? Like, did a priest touch it? Like, because I want to know like where that divide went, where he was like, fuck all religion.
Well,
I'm
he did say in the movie that he went to everything. He was just so consumed by curiosity that he went to everything to try to learn it and then just recognized patterns, and that's what created him. I suppose he's kind of like a magician, really, because there are some extremities after you get to the 40-minute mark where it really starts to get into,
yeah.
because the first 40 minutes of it is very fascinating. I like I mentioned at the top, like I like this idea of like a battle of ideas, and it's just like challenging. But as Connor said, it's like, you have this side, but then you have this side. It felt kind of like a nice little back and forth when he's not steamrolling them, as they even pointed out. But when it gets to like some of these very extreme moments, it as also as we've already stated, like it's going to that level because it's trying to show, as Connor said, like how much these institutions are willing to go to, uphold this facade, so to speak. But it's kind of like a magic trick for him. There's like some quote out there about like how often the magic trick is putting more work into it than people think you should. And that's what he's doing. He's really getting off on the fact that he's put in all this thoughtful work out there for them to think about. But that they're not, and that's what also kind of makes it a good movie, or them good characters, is that they're willing to challenge him on that. I'll get to some issues that I have with that as well. But yeah, it does seem like he does get off on the fact that he's put a lot of thought into this and he wants to make sure that it works out the way that he wants it to.
Well, I think that there's some other aspects of this character that, well, number one of the things that I imagine went into the creative process when it comes to writing a character like this is like, as someone who has been told like a lot of my adult life how important it is to talk about your faith to other people and to engage in those conversations, one of the most terrifying things about having a conversation like that is running into someone who knows so much more than you, who has like an answer, questions for you that you could not possibly have prepared for. It is so scary to think about something like that, which is why I think this is one of the things that makes him such an interesting antagonist for a horror film. Um, but also like looking at him as a person, he strikes me as just a very tragically lonely man, like someone who is so caught up in this journey or in this mission to discover the truth that he has closed himself off from having real conversations with people, where like he is quite comfortable and used to not really having any opposition. So when he later on, when we talk about like when he does get some pushback, you can kind of see where he's just like, oh, interesting, like this is new. I don't really know how to prepare myself for this. And so it does kind of
Yeah.
flip the script a
It's
little
like
bit.
Hal from 2001. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
Like he
Yeah, no,
glitches a
he
little
kind of
bit.
fumbles
Yeah.
and doesn't really answer it. He just goes on to his next step in his
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. He pivots in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. So like overall, I think it is a very neutral, it's a somewhat neutral presentation or portrayal of what like anybody who surrounds themselves or just completely closes themselves off to just a pursuit of their idea without like someone there to be like, well, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that one. It just kind of leads you to a place where you like we kind of said, like some truly disgusting things just are kind of normal and okay, and you rationalize a lot of bad stuff when you don't really have a community to be a part of.
Right. And like I mean with him and you saying that he's lonely, it's just like I watch these cult documentaries on HBO
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm looking at him and I'm looking at them and I was like, there is a thing where people are too, their ego is so big it eats itself and they're always looking for something more meaningful in life. Like they're always looking like, what is the meaning in this little thing? What I need to know what it all is. And they get sucked into this cult and they don't know what it is. And maybe for Hugh Grant in Heretic, like he said in the movie, he was going to everywhere looking for meaning. He was going everywhere looking for something else under the beauty of what is already there. And then when he realized, it was like, well, fuck, it's all a selling machine. It's all a car salesman trying to control me. And he lost his shit instead of like, oh, let me enjoy the beauty. Instead, he has this unbeautiful house on a very dark and stormy and snowy night. And he doesn't recognize on what I think life or what it could mean, where you have these innocent, young, beautiful girls who are like, I want to be a butterfly. Um, they have that element that they can believe that, but when Hugh Grant was looking for meaning in everything, he didn't find it. And I think that's true. I mean, in real life, I've seen it in cult documentaries, people looking for meaning, they don't find it and they get duped and they become very jaded and trying to get back at it. That I mean,
Well,
that's what, huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say not to bring up Kingdom of Heaven, but I feel like a lot of while you were talking, I was thinking these are just kind of people going on their own modern day crusades of looking for meaning in,
Yeah.
you know, is there a meaning in the meaning? Is the meaning of life just whatever you make it, or is there a higher one meaning? And I think that's
Well, that's the question of the movie. That's the
yeah.
one question of the movie. Is there one true religion? And Hugh Grant would have an answer. Well, Hugh Jackman has every answer. Hugh Grant has an answer in this movie. Do the girls have an answer to that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you like that element of it? Because I would say a lot of religions would say their religious text is more important or the one true one, and this one is not, and this is why
Yeah,
we're
but that's just human ego. That's just
right.
human
But
ego
I
getting
can't
into
imagine a religion where they're just like, we may not be the real one because like that just wouldn't that wouldn't take off. It's like, we might. We don't know for sure. Go ahead and join our church. Like that's just
just
not going to work.
just L. Ron Hubbard being like, yeah, it may work, it may not. Xenu hydrogen bombs into volcanoes. So
I don't know. I mean, is there, I mean, you ask, and that's what the question that is brought up in this movie the most is what is the one true religion? And there, I mean, I guess there is, according to every character in this movie, just what do you think that is true, or do you think just like you said, Connor, in the beginning, having faith in whatever it is a good thing. And you have faith no matter what it is. Doesn't have to be this one or that one or that one. What do you, I mean, is that
I mean,
right?
I think it's important to not just believe in anything blindly, like because that is um oh Chelsea, I don't know if you had a reaction to that or not. I'm sorry.
no. I hit my
Oh,
arm
okay. She was
really
just like
hard.
your face was like, ooh, and I was just
No, I
like, I
hit
don't
my arm really hard and I was
No,
okay.
like,
she
don't
pissed.
no, and I was like, don't say, don't yell.
Okay, okay. Well, it's important, like if you do have a faith for you to, you know, test it to kind of see if things start lining up. When it comes to Latter-day Saints, I personally believe that like there are enough things to kind of disprove that particular religion or that particular sect. And I apologize to any LDS listeners to this podcast.
I don't. It's a
Okay.
cult.
I understand.
Those are your words. That's what he said.
However, like it's important to, yes, it's important to, you know, not just believe in whatever, to still look into it and see if it still makes sense, to listen to opposing viewpoints to see if those hold water, so to speak. Like I read a book called The Case for Christ not too long ago, And I actually would recommend that to anybody who's interested in learning about Jesus, because it's written by a guy who is not a Christian, who was not a Christian. He's a lawyer, and he just went around talking to a bunch of experts, historians, theologians, and just trying to disprove things, and ultimately comes out believing in Jesus, which I thought was quite interesting. And everything is like cited and talks about historical records, stuff like that. So it's important to find proof, but there's only so much that faith can do. Like it's very important to not force that on anybody else if they just don't want to believe in you.
Right. What's the book called?
Case for Christ.
The Case for Christ. Is that a Case for Christ or The Case for Christ?
Has anybody read it?
Yes. High school.
Oh,
high
Chelsea,
school.
you read it?
Had to read it in high school.
Oh, because you went to the Christian school.
King's Academy, shout out. Class of 2005.
My goodness. I mean, is that I mean, I guess is it a good book? Is it, I mean, I guess what I'm asking for is, I mean, so my background in all of that, I mean, of course I'm Jewish, but in college, I took religious classes because I was curious on like Jainism and Taoism, all of that. So I was just always curious on everything of that. Not necessarily I was searching or anything for that. I was just curious on what it all was. But I don't remember that book. But is it is you recommend it? It's still out. People read it.
Oh,
Is
I personally would recommend it. Yeah, it was written in like the 70s, and it's been updated a little bit with certain like I don't quite understand. I mean, it's just basic little stuff like new editions where they're just like, hey, here's this new source you can look at, stuff like that.
Okay. I'm just curious. I wonder if like Hugh Grant's character would have read that and would have saw things differently, or he was
Well,
looking for
it's
something else in
interesting.
this movie.
He's
He was
probably
bringing
read
up stuff.
all of that. Yeah.
The thing is, he was bringing up points where I was just like, Case for Christ has an answer for that already. Or I was just like, I'm happy I read that book.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what happens later on in the movie.
Yes.
Is that the girl who you think is the most timid and doesn't know much is the one that's actually given him the business. Like she's the one calling him out, which I thought was cool. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To,
I
to a
agree.
degree, I take a little bit of issue with that transition, just a little
Me
bit.
too, because I do think, and I'm gonna come back to the fucking sharks, Preston. There's a moment in this movie where the movie jumps the shark. Like I think it goes into a different territory, and it becomes super cheesy in a way, and too on the nose in certain parts. Preston, is this where the movie loses you, or do you like that horror element where it goes, or is it too much?
I suppose, yeah, that's the point where it loses me a little bit on the second go. The first go, it was once they started going downstairs, and then you get into all the other stuff, because that's when it starts to get a little more conventional. Well, especially when it comes at this point, this movie's been out for a week. We hope you've seen it. So we figure you have if you've gotten this far into it. So I
Yeah, we
feel
gotta
like
talk
we
about
should have a
spoilers.
real discussion about everything that happens here. So it's either the personality switch by the end with Sister Paxton, which kind of happens without much trace. I get that it's a traumatic experience and things like that can happen. You can't expect to uphold that personality all the way through. It just kind of felt like too much. Like one of my favorite horror movies, and I know we've brought it up on this podcast, is Ready or Not. Like when that happens in the movie, like you find out that she grew up on a survivalist compound, and she's being tested in a way that she's never been tested before, and it slowly kind of comes out in very interesting ways. This felt like such a switch
Right.
that it was so I kind of wrestled with it a little bit. I think it gets where it needs to get ultimately, but I don't think it's as seamless as probably the filmmakers were aiming for.
Right, because you think the brunette girl in here is the one that's going to save the day, and the blonde, she is still like she's the damsel in distress almost, but she's the one that turns it on him and gives him the most run for his money. Chelsea, how do you feel about those two girls?
It's with the sisters, I mean, I look at them, how he looks at them, and I see one person who is malleable and open to more control and open to more suggestion. And then I see like the brunette, he asks her things like, "Oh, is your father still in your life?" To kind of gauge like daddy issues and social stuff like that. And you can tell that she is more of like a worldly, kind of like seasoned girl. Uh, I mean, yeah, I just think that it was he picked the girl that could be controlled very a lot easier than the brunette could.
Yeah.
Okay. At least on the surface level.
Yes, I do like how they gave like a nuance to that because it kind of does call back to the beginning of, well, you think this very naive girl, Mormon missionary, kind of is just going on door, knocking on doors. She's never, seen anything bad. She's not into anything bad. And then I think it's kind of if you haven't thought about it or if you're as enraged as Hugh Grant is about religion in general, I don't think you get the nuances of people. And I think he didn't account for that in the end during kind of the whole like crazy journey.
Right. And I think it's like one of the jokes I liked about the movie, like that maybe people won't understand until later, but that as much as Hugh Grant talks about hating religion and all of these religious figures and preaching, he is the preacher. Like he is the
Yeah.
ultimate amazing, funny, likable preacher. Like he's making references to the girls, that like from songs to Star Wars to board games. He is that guy. He's just for a different religious sect of non-religion. And I thought that was brilliant. Like he played it so well because I mean, I like Hugh Grant in this movie. Like I mean, I fairly root for him for the most part, to a certain point because he's very likable, he's very charismatic.
I
Um,
I
But in a
think it
very
comes
creepy ass way.
yeah, and yeah, I was gonna like Preston said, like the smart he's he's proud that he's like the smartest person in the room. He knows
Yeah.
it, and I just think that he has all of this intelligence, and yes, I do think Hugh Grant was very creepy, and I would love to see him on in more roles like this in horror or thrillers and stuff, and not um please don't go back to rom-coms right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh, but I do think that the whole the whole of it is more about Hugh Grant. I mean, he can have all the intelligence in the world, but he still can't come to a certainty. He still can't come to an agreement with himself.
Well, because he's extreme. That's the issue is extreme. If he was moderate in a way of like just okay, yeah, I don't believe in it, but it's okay for you to do it. I feel like it would be okay, but he's really doing the hard sell mission work
Mhm.
and not, for a religion or Christianity or anything. He's doing it for opposing it. And there's the issue, right?
Which is kind of the same thing as going towards it. So yeah.
No, yeah, that's what he is. And you got to imagine that there are people out there who are agnostic or atheist who are very vehemently that way, but they don't go into building a house and a trap and trapping people, but they voice their opinions like that. And
Yeah.
those are both sides of the extreme. What do you think, Preston? Do you think that in his character?
So, I find him to be quite a scary character. What was enjoyable to me in watching it is knowing what he's gonna say, and I was actually kind of looking at Connor to see because I saw him have a big reaction to one of the lines in the film
Oh, which one?
where it's the one where as soon as he invites them in there in the house, he's like, "There's metal in the walls and ceilings. I hope you're okay with that." And they're like, "Oh yeah," like it didn't even register with them because
Yeah.
that's his style. Like he presents things, packages things in such a normal way, and that's what ultimately makes it menacing. It's because he
Yeah.
says something like that, and then I saw you kind of go. Like, what?
Exactly.
You know,
It's just-
why
would
would you
you-
say that?
Why would you even say that?
But then you
Yeah.
say it in
Because
fucking
it's all
British. You say it
no,
in
because
British.
it's
it
all a
sounds-
test. It's all a
Yeah.
test. He's testing them from the moment they walk in.
Yeah. Yeah. And he even says that with the candle, like,
Yeah.
and then challenges them later, saying, like, at what point did you realize, start to question whether or not that I have a wife in the back?
Yeah.
No, which is
Yeah.
good. But then he's British and it sounds happier and you're more let your guard down if it's British,
I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry if I go into someone's house and they say, "Hey, just to let you know, the floors and like the house has been reinforced by metal. Your phone's not going to work in here." Why would I stay in there?
So
Your
like in the movie, did he say your phone won't work?
No,
Like,
he
He
just said
didn't
metal.
say that. He just said there's metal in the ceilings and the walls. I hope that's okay. And
I
that's
hope
it.
that's okay. Okay.
I would probably react with, yeah, there's
What?
metal in every house.
No,
But
see, the way
I
he
think
says
I
it
think
was
I'd be like,
weird.
why bring that up?
yeah, also that, like, that's saying it's like I didn't bury the body is like I didn't say you did, but okay.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
like so probably my favorite reaction and probably my favorite moment in the whole film really is when they start to say like, "Oh, your front doors just lock like that?" And then it's like, "Yeah, like I can't they lock and then like why would you do
They're on a timer.
that?" Yeah. What can you do? It's just kind of like that kind of reaction to it. So
Yeah.
that whole play with it, because it actually a lot of that psychological play like that, because they're trying to uphold like have some manners and everything,
It's
and
dangerous
they know,
compliance.
huh?
It's that dangerous compliance.
Yeah, which made me think of Speak No Evil at
Yeah.
the very end of the movie with that whole discussion about. Like why did you do this? Why did you allow this to happen? You're holding the wrong speak no evil, sir.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's holding up a movie and it's the wrong one.
It is.
So I read an article about this movie that I thought was interesting because like I don't know if you guys can tell this, but I'm a man, and it sometimes can be difficult to
We
Race.
don't know until you
look
see it.
to look
Yeah.
at things from a female perspective. And one of the things that I did not think about until after the fact is like that. I mean, the it's like the bad guy of this movie will mansplain the two characters to death.
Yes.
Like he just won't stop talking, and also like he is taking so much advantage over over what women, especially young women who are involved in religious organizations, have been raised to do, which is to always be courteous, to always be polite, to never cause trouble or make waves, or to be disrespectful, so to speak. So like when he starts talking about how, oh yeah, the doors are they won't open, like a guy would be like, okay, I'm going to kick it down. Like they would be like, sorry, I'm leaving, and if it's busted, that's kind of on you. I'll write you a check, see you later. But he's just testing to see if they'll just be like, well, I guess we have no choice because he's bigger than us and we got to be polite, we got to be nice. And it's infuriating to watch them just be so compliant. Oh yeah, and I did ask Preston if he had ever seen the movie Compliance that came out.
That is a
little
wonderful
while
movie,
ago.
by the way.
It's one of those where it's just like I'm never watching that movie again, but I'm happy that I did watch it
I
Yeah.
own
back
it
in the day.
right up there.
I believe you. I definitely believe you. Like, I mean, I showed my wife a trailer for that, and she looked at me. It's just like, what on earth is wrong with you? Like, why would you even want to see that movie? I'm just like, I mean,
It's
because
I mean
it's
that
interesting
that
as
shit
heck to
happens.
just
That is
watch the
based
human
on a true
psyche.
story. That is
Well, it's
based
just
on a
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah, it's to see what human beings are capable of doing to each other, and to kind of I mean, it's a terrible idea, it's a terrifying idea, but it's also just a kind of a cautionary tale of like the importance of being able and willing to say no.
So you said earlier about mansplaining, Hugh Grant mansplaining. Do you think that that's what the two girls would be doing, or missionary workers do, or mission people do? They mansplain the religious and try to get you on their side. Is that like the opposite of what that's happening?
Well,
Just
in the defense of Mormons, and I know they don't like being called Mormons, which is that's a whole thing. Um, Yeah, apparently, yeah, I don't know if you knew this. They don't like that term, even though it's on their Bible, which is weird. But um,
What do they want to be
they
called?
liked being called LDS or Latter Day Saints. I think
No,
that
yeah.
I think I talked to one a couple years ago, and he was saying like a lot of times I think the term Mormon is used kind of in a derogatory way because of the reputation of that church. And I don't know. I think they just try to it's kind of like a branding thing. They wanted to distance themselves from it because people hear Mormon and they just already have all these opinions, which should be a red flag.
How many
Number
wives do
one,
you have?
for all of the people
Yeah.
who are believing this, they're just like, wait a second. If people hear the name of our church and they already have all these opinions, maybe let's look into why they have all these opinions. But that's a different subject. Um, but like in defense of Mormon missionaries, I have had experience where two people at separate times in my life they've gone through experiences where they've had, and both of these men have are also strong Christians. They would have LDS missionaries come to their door and they would talk to them, and they actually weren't aggressive at all. They weren't very mansplaining. They weren't so controlling at first. They were very polite. They did the whole inviting you in sort of thing. And when it came to my friends trying to give them an opposing point of view, when as soon as they realized that this was not a conversion anymore, that this was
The
more of
conversation.
a
Yeah.
conversation, then they kind of lost interest. And unfortunately, they were told by some of their higher ups that they weren't allowed to go back and continue talking with them, which, and that's when I was just like, because it's a cult. And and that's when I told them that. So, all that to be said, when Hugh Grant was being the way he was, like, to be fair, Mormon missionaries don't necessarily go that hardcore, especially out the gate.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. They also probably look at the weather and maybe know, hey, today's not a good day to go door to door.
That's probably true. I mean, I really thought like there was like some M. Night Shyamalan thing happening with like the happening, with like the weather going on. Just like it just got crazy and crazier and crazier outside. I just thought that was a little
It was just a way to get them inside to
okay.
more, because otherwise you would think that they would be like, because they're asking smart questions. They're doing like that's what I really like about this film, that the young ladies are constantly asking the right things. And so for them to say, we need a woman present. You have a lady roommate, as they said in the film. And but for me, I think I'd be like, I need to put my eyes on this person before I step
Yeah.
inside your house. But they're feeling the pressure. It's raining outside, so it's all trying to unfold in a very realistic way, or as realistic as it can be given the circumstances.
And so the object of this movie, I mean, I guess with Hugh Grant being who he is, why kill people? Why not just present it in a way to make them question everything for 50 years later? But why kill them or use them as the women in the cages?
That's my biggest disappointment with the
R-
film is that I was like, oh, this movie's gonna like he's not gonna do anything. He's gonna allow them to
Yeah.
make their own decisions. And that would have been even more scary if the women are down there and they got, brainwashed to a point where they're following his every move and listening to whatever he has to say because they believe it. So it would probably have even more to say. That's when I felt like, as I said earlier, that it gets a little more conventional. They had to put him in cages and things like that. But I will also say that I do find the stabbing sequence to be quite effective
Yeah.
as like a piece of horror. It's just I wish it was in a different movie, but
You could still
that
have
whole
stabbing working in there, but to me, he goes through this entire production, which he's rehearsed, he's spent money on, he does whatever. It's a calculated thing, and he wants to get this point across so much, but then he kills him like right away. Like I don't get it. I feel like it would be even worse where he would show them how much religion and God is not real. Like it's fucking fake. And then
Yeah,
they
but he
get
can't
out
do
of
that.
it and they are just like, wait, I I'm gonna live the rest of my life the opposite way and unhappy, and that's his happiness, his goal. But why? What do you think, Chelsea?
I don't think there's a goal to this. Maybe he thinks that there's a goal to this, but there isn't. And similar to like a martyrs, I think he just likes to see if there is any kind of morality in human suffering. If peeling back the layers physically and mentally of somebody, if there's any kind of deeper meaning. And I mean, for me personally, I just think life is whatever deeper meaning that we give it. It's, relationships, and it's love, and I don't need religion to be like a moral person kind of thing. I don't need like a set of ethics or laws or doctrines to make quote moral decisions. But I don't thinking about it more, I just think it was, I mean, he has those two doors, the belief and the disbelief. And we see them go down the doors into the basement, and they both lead to the exact same place. And this is why I'm, pondering on this movie a lot more. I really do think this movie was more about uh your actions and your worldview and whatever you've been through that will always shape your reality. And people's realities will be different depending on what they've grown up with, what they've gone through, any traumatic experiences, and what you believe. Uh, this is getting more toward the ending, but what you believe will be real to you. It's not always what is real. And so I mentioned Saint Maud as well because spoilers if you've never seen Saint Maud, I'm sorry, but it's just this this uh this girl that is just seeing signs everywhere. And one of the last things in the movie is she thinks that she is kind of like ascending and stuff, but it's just her lighting herself on fire, and it's like the most grotesque, terrifying thing you've ever seen. But she's
See
seeing
it,
all these
Connor.
halos and spirals, and it's a higher power and stuff. And then you look at the people who are actively looking at her, and
Yeah.
it's just terrifying. And so I think whatever you frame something as will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, what she just said with the last image of the butterfly being on her finger, then the very last frame is it not on her finger, and you're like, what?
So that's what I want to bring up. The very ending of this movie. Did she die? Did she not die? Was that her dying when the butterfly went away?
So I said it's an open-ended ending. Did she die? Did she come back as a butterfly, or did she get out? It's much like Inception. Is the top still spinning, or did he find a way to get
Yeah.
back to his family? It's the door metaphor in the movie of the belief and non-belief, but ending up in the same place. It also said like no service at the end of her phone, where it establishes that she had service before. There was like just a little shot
Hmm.
before they go into the house. Um, and again, I think whatever we choose to believe shapes our reality more than we think. But I think they purposefully made it open-ended. But just from that, and then from the song that goes right into the credits, the knocking on heaven's door, I think they all died.
Okay. Yeah.
Wishful thinking, like Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Very.
Preston? What do you think about that ending?
I like that it's not defined. I'd rather not, I don't think about it as something very finite. I'm okay with things having an open ending, and for me to just, because that's the whole point of the film that we've been talking about, like it just gives me fodder to chew on.
Mhm.
What do
And
you
so
hope that happened?
what do I hope that happens? I don't know. I'm just more interested in the fact that it's the perspective of the cameras is kind of like taking it all sides, really. It's so her shot of seeing the butterfly there, that gives her hope and happiness. That gives her comfort in knowing if this is the end, she has what she needs to be able to cross to the other side and feel good about it. And that's what ultimately I believe. Like, hey, if you find your thing and you it has it lines up with your values, hey, great. Um, just, don't try to, yeah, I don't know, like really try to push it on me or something like that. Let me find it on my own. Um, and so I like that the last shot doesn't shows it not there because it could be another perspective on it all. So yeah, like I said, I like that it's not completely defined. So I'd rather not try to define it.
And early in the movie, there's a part where what Hugh Grant's talking about um, the things that the body does to the
Yeah,
brain as oxygen and as the heart is stopping to kind of just put you in that just euphoric place, before you do die, and that there it goes to very great lengths to make you comfortable, your own brain, and to make you, um, yeah, to make you comfortable enough to pass.
yeah. Because I guarantee it, when my moment comes. And I haven't even spoken about what I truly believe in yet, because I did grow up Catholic and I went to Young Life and I went to church camps in high school. And so I suppose I take more of a agnostic stance now. I just kind of believe in being a kind person and I think like whenever I do go, and I haven't been in a while, like when I would go to church, it felt nice to be in that energy. Like I like to be surrounded by that energy. There's just and then I would annoy my wife a little bit with it because when I
My
listen to
wife.
what's being said, I would be like, "Ah, I don't know about that. I think they're thinking a little too much into that, and that's probably not how it actually went down. It could have been this instead." And so I'd always poke holes in it, I but I think when my moment comes. You're gonna think probably, oh God, God is real. Just take me to a place where I can be reunited with my loved ones. And so,
Mhm.
um, I do like that this film tackles even some of those thoughts too, because I think, yeah, like I said, it's probably gonna be on my mind when my moment comes.
I'm gonna tell you, I know exactly what Preston believes in. Shark Jesus died for his fins.
Oh my God.
Boom! I'm not hearing a no from Preston.
That that was such
Actually,
a dad joke.
It's really good.
It's
Pretty
pretty good.
good.
Did you like that?
how long ago did you write that down?
Stayed up till 3 a.m. writing that one. Oh, it's so good. I like that, Preston. No, I like that. I think you told me that you went to Young Life and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
like with well, go ahead, Chelsea.
What's Young Life? Because I feel like I probably went to
Young
all
Life
those.
is like it's well, Preston, you could answer if you
Go
wanted
ahead.
to.
No, it's
It's
fine.
essentially a youth outreach program for Christianity. It's kind of like I don't know if you've heard of Baptist Student Ministry before.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
Yeah.
I used to be on a chapel leadership team in high school, so I used to do a lot of stuff with with ministry and outreach, and even my senior trip, we did a missions trip to an orphanage in Italy.
Hmm.
Um,
They still got
which
orphanages.
what?
They still have orphanages.
Yeah, yeah, really, really nice ones though.
Man, like my wife
Um,
and I are kind of looking into the adoption process, and it's just like, where are the orphans? It's like you don't know where they used to be, just us, right? In the orphanage right over there. But now it's
yeah,
just like, they're in a foster home. Where is it? It's a secret. We can't tell you. Like it's a whole
It's in
yeah,
thing.
Houston. Yeah, yeah. Because we
yeah.
were my wife and I were considering fostering and looking into that entire process, and we actually got to the point where we I forgot what it's called, but it's essentially where you can just like babysit them for the afternoon to
It's,
take
yeah,
it off the hands
it's
of
like
the
rent a
foster
kid.
parents. Yeah, yeah. And we did that. And yeah, it's the whole process just gave me so much anxiety.
It's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail about orphanages, but please, Chelsea, continue.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say the only thing I remember about the little Italian orphanages was how good the little kids were at soccer.
They're walking around just like my mom and papa.
Yes,
Oh,
they go,
shit.
hello, Chelsea. Welcome to Italy.
They're
Yeah.
always talking in their hands. That'd be it.
Yes.
I would love to go to Italy and just be like, oh, it's all true. Everybody is just doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Ciao, ciao.
Soccer Jesus died for our shins.
God,
Boom!
why are these so good today?
Little playful blasphemy for the podcast,
Yeah.
you know.
Why are these so good today? For our shins.
I guess you could do that with indie music Jesus too. Shins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Died for the shins.
That's some new slang right there.
There you go. That's good stuff.
Preston, I like to think that you just would just want to develop like a new podcast and just be like it's all about just for watching me watch a movie that you would recommend, just to be like observing, like, hey, here's how Connor reacted to this.
Oh yeah, Connor reacts to Salo, 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh my God.
Episode 1.
There's a lot of movies that Preston is just like, oh, you should watch this, and I look at the description, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But I mean,
We show
you do
Connor a
you, man.
Serbian film.
Yes.
Oh boy, I have heard of a
I
Serbian
own that
film.
movie too. Right up there.
It's not even good though. It's just
It is awesome.
I
Well,
disagree.
we're talking about this. So I think in the movie she dies. Specific in Heretic. I think she dies when the butterfly goes away. I think that was the moment. It's like, oh yeah, she's gone. I do think that she probably escaped at the
By
last
looking at the fucking model to see that there's an air vent. It's crazy. That whole sequence, I was like, oh man, that's an awesome shot.
I agree.
Because
Where it like
it,
pulls out and from the
yeah,
little model.
to do the
That
model
was
thing.
really cool. I like that.
It was
shot.
a really cool shot because it was one of those nuances that I was speaking about at the front when I watched it again. I was like, oh, and Hugh Grant's character had that whole, as Mr. Reed had that whole bit where he's talking about maybe we are just like a floating on a speck of dust and we're just ants, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like a moment that visually articulates that a little bit, but it's followed by her figuring out, because he's so skillful that he created the blueprint for his house so people could potentially figure out how to get out of it through the model.
Yeah.
How much of the $10 million budget do you think went to that shot? I'm gonna guess a significant amount.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that in Hereditary had some interesting stuff going on.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
stuff with the dollhouses.
I don't know if I told you, I watched that movie on a plane at like 2 a.m, and I had to pause it a couple of times just to be like,
Oh, oh my God.
just to see if anyone else was just like, what on earth is that dude watching?
Connor,
Yeah, that was
what
a
do you
great
think-
scene.
What do you think about the ending of this movie?
Yeah, so I do like to imagine. I will echo that. I thought it was kind of cool that it was a bit open ended. That kind of reiterates the idea where this movie doesn't just hit you over the head with one clear answer or another. I do think that the butterfly could have been symbolic of God, just kind of giving her a bit of like a nudge to just give her a little bit of comfort. Especially because the butterfly wasn't there before. I do think it could also imply that she died, she escaped. But it's really one of those where it's just like kind of like Lost in Translation, where you're just like, I bet it was just right. Like you're not really quite sure what to make of it, but you do walk away not necessarily feeling gutted. Poor choice of words, because she was. But besides that, like, yeah, I don't know if she died or not. I'm sure she will. If she didn't die, she's gonna have a hard time explaining what happened.
Well, we think that with most final girls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
there
they
you
have that
go. It
whole
is.
look. I think it speaks something to what we may believe in or how we are as people, like what we make of that ending. Because if me and Chelsea are a little more on the agnostic side of it, we have this like, I don't know what to believe. And then Connor may be like, well, I like to think that maybe she did survive, and maybe that's more speaks to the optimism of him and his own beliefs.
And what about me?
What about
Do you
you?
believe,
You're
Brian?
doom and gloom, dude.
Yeah.
She died.
You're like, she dies.
You probably think she died a while ago.
I know. I think she died when she got out of the house. Like, I mean, I get like she's gutted from hearing all of that, but she has that moment, and when she sees the butterfly, at first I was like, "Oh, is that her friend coming to say hello?" And then the butterfly leaves, and I was like, "Oh, bitch is dead. Bye." I was like, "She gone."
It could be taken that the butterfly wasn't real, or that the
That's what
butterfly
I
was a bit of
took
a
it as.
supernatural thing. So it disappearing could imply it either wasn't real at all or was more of a supernatural entity.
Because it was still on her finger, and then the next shot, it's not on her finger, but she's still doing the hand
Yeah.
Yeah,
gesture, like as
Hmm.
if it's still on her
like
hand.
that she's just seeing it. And
Yeah.
I want to bring up the whole kind of like the simulation theory that he brings up with the like NPC character. They're like, it's
Absolutely
like,
out of left
no,
field.
she's not a real character. That thing, and I immediately I don't know who I saw this with. I don't think I saw this with any of you just right by me, but I turned to who I was with and I said, that's contraceptive. Like that's a birth control. Like I know
Even I knew
exactly
what
what
that
that is.
was.
Yeah. I was like, I know exactly what that is. That's like a copper IUD, something kind of. And so that kind of was weird to me how he was like, "Oh, she's not real. She's a person that was put here." And it's just like, really? I had problems with that just because it just seems so unbelievable. I know he's just trying to make the other girl question herself a million times more, just what's real, what isn't, and her whole belief, but that sequence didn't really work for me.
Well, I think
I,
he was trying to prey on her weaknesses. I mean, I don't know how he would be aware of the conversation at the beginning of the film, but it was kind of established that she was just not very well, like familiar with the different types of birth control or contraceptives. So, like, I mean, we as the audience know, like, oh shoot, she might. We all know what this is, but she
Yeah.
might not because she's relatively sheltered. Uh, but I don't know how he would be aware of that. So that kind of doesn't really work. But that might have just been for us.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a shot of him like looking at
Oh
and
yeah,
like
very
covering
lingers,
it
kind of
up.
male
Yeah.
gazes on that scar. Where I'm just like, oh, does she have an IUD on
Yeah.
her? Like, uh, I don't know how they work. I don't know how a thing in your arm makes you not get pregnant. But I mean, here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Uh, it's Heretic. Do you recommend this movie, Preston, to people to watch?
yes, I would. I would.
Okay. Yeah. I think it has dark comedy. I think it's got some horror bits. I think it's entertaining. Chelsea, what about you?
Yes, if not for the simple fact that Lana Del Rey, Jar Jar Binks, and Bob Ross were mentioned in his whole spiel of everything. So
Well,
yeah.
you not only have Jar Jar Binks mentioned, you have Hugh Grant do an impression of Jar
Yeah.
Jar Binks in a
God
movie,
almighty.
which is
I saw that hit Twitter finally, and people are like, Heretic, him doing Jar Jar Binks, and everyone's like really confused, like, what is going on?
yeah.
So good
Yeah,
job.
all he had
Connor,
to
do
do was
you
just say Misa, but he
Misa.
didn't. Instead, he does like "excuse me," just like of all the lines from Jar Jar.
uh
Okay.
Connor,
Oh,
what
go
do you
ahead. Yes,
think? Do you recommend this movie?
I do. I would recommend this. Particularly, you might not expect this one, but I actually would encourage any like audiences who would call themselves people of faith. I would say this is a pretty interesting watch. Because like I said before, anybody who does have a belief system when it comes to religion, like it should be important to just be familiar with different viewpoints, especially in how to interact with people with different viewpoints. Um, so yeah, for that, I think it's quite interesting. And don't go if you stayed up until 2 in the morning watching a different movie, because I will admit halfway through I did get a little sleepy. Because it's a bit of a slow burn, but once it does get going,
The horror
it
TED
is pretty
Talk.
good. Yeah, it's a bit of a slow movie. It's very conversational, but if you got some coffee or maybe some snacks in the theater, it's a good time. I would recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, I recommend it. It's fun. I gave it a 3.5 stars out of 5. And I think the movie eats itself at some point where it's too on the nose and goes to cheese territory. But I think it's the journey. I like the characters. Hugh Grant is God in this movie. It's so great. and it's funny as shit. I had a good time with it. I do believe I would have loved to stick around for that secret screening and watch this with the Fantastic Fest crowd.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't do what I guess they did some other screenings for it. The Draft House did, and they actually burnt some blueberry pie candles in the theater to give it kind of a smellorama type of vibe.
Nice.
And I was like, we didn't get that. Damn it.
Oh,
And they
That
served
sounds like
Yeah.
blueberry
fun.
pie.
oh, that would have been great. That would have been good. I like that. All right, we are My Bloody Podcast. Check us out every week. It's good shit. We talking about horror and sometimes religion, you know? Hail Satan on My Bloody Podcast. It's always good. We want to thank Connor Bynum for coming on the show, guesting on this. Connor, can people find you online? Are you doing a TED Talk about religion like Hugh
Um,
Grant
if you
online?
you can find me on Twitter/X at Connor_Bynum. I would more than happy to talk to anybody about my faith if they're interested, but no, I'm not gonna make it my mission to beat you over the head with it either.
He'll talk Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll
And
talk about
play
Star Wars with
Monopoly
you.
with you.
Yeah.
Play
Yeah, sure. I got
Monopoly.
two versions. I got Mario Kart Monopoly.
All
Star
right.
Haven't
Wars
even opened it up
Monopoly.
yet.
Yeah. Thank you, Connor, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Preston, where's everybody finding you and your shark beliefs?
I like that you're giving me the opportunity to speak about what I do because on Fear and Loathing, you took that away from us. You did
You
all the
took that
work.
away from you took that away from us completely. You're like, well, you're there and you're there and you're there.
Yeah, I did.
Goodbye. He had shit to do, apparently, and just wanted to make sure we didn't go off like we are here.
Mm.
Um, you can find me on Instagram most actively, or most active on there as Blu-ray Dad, and then Preston Barta other places, and my writing on ditnarcy.com, and I'm also on Fear and Loathing in Cinema podcast.
And I want to ask, did I get any of it wrong last when I did it on Fear? Did I get any of it
No,
wrong?
you got it all right.
Oh, good.
You didn't know my Twitter name, so
It's
yeah, you
just
got it wrong.
You
we
have 10 names.
like to talk.
No, I don't.
Okay, Chelsea, where can they find you on all of these adult-only sites?
That's not true. Um, I mean, I feel like Twitter is kind of adult only with the crazy people that are on it now.
There is a lot of porn on Twitter.
There's
He's
a
the
lot of
male
porn.
magnet handle
There's
Wampa one.
there's Waffle one. There's a lot of like very alt right wing stuff, a lot of porn. Yeah, it's a lot. So you can find me on Blue Sky, or you can find me on Blue Sky as Chelsea Nico. You can find me on Instagram is probably where I'm most active, on Chelsea Nico. And I'm still gonna be on Twitter because I feel like I just want to be there till the ship sinks.
You're pot
I-
committed. You've been on there for 30 years. You can't
It's
lose all of them
it's
tweets.
literally been I think I got a thing the other day. It was like congrats on the 15 years, and I was like,
Yeah, I can't lose all them tweets.
so yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of things that I just gotta go through my likes to save, but it's Miss_Tenenbaum, and we are talking about House of Gucci on Fear and Loathing in Cinema. And that
You,
was a
you
very
didn't pronounce that right.
House of Gucci.
There you go. The House of Gucci.
And a Gucci.
And I'm Bryan Kluger. You can find me writing about
What
movies.
adult sites can we find you on?
All of
Oh,
them.
jewishdick.net.
God damn it.
.net. Interesting.
J-Date.
J-Date.
Dot com.
.com
Yeah,
is taken, unfortunately.
it's a network.
Kosher cock. Okay. It's good.
You just had these ready, man. That's great.
It's good. I do have do y'all want to hear the last the final Jesus pun?
Okay.
Go for it.
I don't think we have a choice.
We don't have control.
Bowling Jesus died for our pins. So good. So good. I've got
Oh.
more. Trash Jesus died for our bins. Ah, so good. It's good. I'm Bryan Kluger. You can find all my fucking weird jokes and offensive material at highdefdigest.com
We're
talk
here.
where I talk about the truth about Oppenheimer, or on Boomstick Comics. And you can find Bryan Kluger everywhere on social media. It's just Bryan Kluger. There's nothing about it. It's just Bryan Kluger. And yeah, Fear and Loathing and Cinema podcast, Wednesdays on the radio, electromagnetic radio, and playing soundtracks, and the CRN network, talking about movies and other reality TV shows. And yes, I'm probably on porn somewhere. Just got to find it. Thank you. Come again and come everywhere. Go see Heretic.
I hate you.